Okay, so leaving Tooleybuc today. Oh my goodness, the heat wave has been crazy, which is why I sort of plugged into power. Just packing up the inside. A couple of things that I always check. I always check to make sure that the Siroccos are locked away. Not really sure why. I don't think they move a lot. All the windows, the blinds and stuff are cracked open because they've got magnets that sit on there, and apparently the magnets rub together if you don't crack them open. So I always do that. And one of the things that I triple, quadruple check is I always check to make sure the water pump is off. So, and as a safety precaution, I just make sure that the taps are at least facing into the sink. All windows are shut and locked off. Roof hatches, windows, everything's locked off there. The shower goes down into basically just what is my washing basket, just sits down in there. Everything is put away. These doors are shut because they can actually move around a lot in transit, and that everything is as it should be. The bed's not a storage place, but I certainly put a couple of things on there that can move around. Starlink just sits there, and Starlink, because Starlink just literally goes on the roof here, I put the little storage container for Starlink there, and it's kind of in the way because it wouldn't be hard to jump out, chuck your shoes on, and then drive down the road and Starlink just slides off the roof and smashes on the ground, and that's the end of it. Anyway, I'll show you quickly what I've done outside. I've just gone for a quick ride, locked the bike away. I'll give you a quick look. So the bike is away. You might have seen on some of my little shorts, I've got this bike rack that sits on top here, just sits in one of those little receivers, and this can all come off and just go back onto the back of the cruiser if I want to transport it. But what I've done is I've had this piece here made so it doesn't just snap it off. It is all braced underneath there, but the bike just sits on here, and then I've got a little locky strap just in case that thing decides to go up, and it's all locked away. The lock, I've just used an inner tube to go over there. It's not perfect, and eventually it's going to rub it down. Make sure your gas bottles are done, but this is all pretty sturdy. It does move around, but that's not a bad thing, because then your bike is not just smashing up and down like the way the caravan. And then just do a quick systems check. Obviously haven't shut this door or put the step in. One of the things I did early days is I took the little fold out step out thinking I'm going to do all this off-roading and that's the lowest point. Well, never really happened. I always give the camera a bit of a clean while the step's out to make sure that I've got clear vision out the back. And then once that's done, I jump in, start the car, put the hazard lights on, because the hazard lights will make sure that all of your indicators are working. So rather than jumping in, turning your left indicator on, making sure that that's working, just chuck your hazard lights on and do it that way. And then I just run around, make sure all the hatches are locked, all the windows are shut, all of that sort of stuff. Gas is off, and then you're ready to go. So we're almost set, and so leaving Tooleybuc and heading down to Pinaroo today, which is only a couple of 100 k's, but it's dropped from, this morning it's probably in the high teens. I went for a quick ride. It almost felt cold after yesterday being 45 plus. So I'm going to do a bit of a driving day. My intention is to get to Murray Bridge today and spend a couple of days there. There's a bit of there's a few trails and stuff there. Anyway, it's been great here. Tooleybuc Sporting Club, $20 a night, power. And I did pick up water. I did a load of washing yesterday. I did pick up some water, and they don't mind. They're sort of open for anything. Anyway, there you go. Let's get this show on the road. Bye for now. Just another quick one. A couple of hot days driving, and I'm very, very mindful when I'm in hot conditions to not drive in the heat of the day. But I'm just going to go around, check fluid levels, just give a little bit of a system check. A reminder does come up on my phone every Monday to do this, but I didn't drive yesterday, but the previous 2 days were pretty hot. So just a quick systems check, make sure your fluids are all good, make sure there's nothing really obvious. I'm not a mechanic, but if something was obvious, it would present itself and you go, oh, hang on, that doesn't look like right. Like if you had some fluid on one of these pipes or something wasn't quite right. But quick check over, make sure everything's good, and then start the big girl up. Anyway, check your gear. Bye-bye. All good. So just coming through the little town of Tooleybuc, which is where I spent the last couple of days, avoiding this heat wave. Great little park here for the kids, right on the Murray River, which is just a cracking location. The town is literally like a post office, a general store, which is also the takeaway store, a pub, which is mandatory, and a really great coffee shop, which is the old butcher shop. So if you're in town, grab a coffee from just here, which I've done the last couple of mornings, and then we cross into Victoria. Feels a bit dodgy. I went for a ride here this morning. Not dodgy as in people dodgy, but dodgy as in the people coming in this opposite direction. So there's the Murray. What a magnificent river. Anyway, we are now in Victoria. Haven't been to Victoria for a couple of years. Anyway, there you go. That's how far we've gone. Let's do this. Just pulled up in Ouyen on my way to Pinaroo, I think it's called. And then I'll sort of decide what I'm going to do when I get there. I may go all the way to Murray Bridge. But just came into town. I needed some fresh produce. Wasn't sure if I was going to get stopped at the Victorian border with fresh produce. Didn't get stopped, but anyway, nice little town. Good IGA. Bakery shut. Never mind. But lots of deco buildings, so probably signifies the era of this town. It's a cutie. I like it. Anyway, time to keep this show moving. So I'm just coming up to the South Australian border near Pinaroo, and I'm looking for the quarantine bins, can't find them. Rock up and I'm literally at the quarantine area. Did a big Yui. Had only just bought salad. What a rookie. So looks like it's salad for lunch and the rest goes in the bin. But there's no quarantine bin area near Pinaroo, so I'm guessing that I'm just going to be throwing it out when I get there. Anyway, I'll let you know. And then, oddly enough, so this is one of the very few border locations when you've got to declare fruit and veg that doesn't have a quarantine bin area prior, because it's so close to the border that they couldn't actually do it. So I had salad and all that sort of stuff, which I was allowed to keep. Onion I was allowed to keep. The rest had to go, which was tomato. I had a mango anyway, which I probably wasn't going to eat, but anyway, nice enough people. It's a bit of a crappy job, I'd imagine, at times, but there you go. So I've just arrived at Tailem Bend, and I've had a pretty decent drive, and one of the things I check is I always check the hubs and the tyres just for heat, because both of them are going to give me two different bits of information. If the hubs are hot, it means the bearings are potentially on their way out, and if the tyres are hot, it means that my tyre pressures are wrong. Anyway, they can be warm and they can be quite warm, but not hot. Anyway, there you go. Okay, we have arrived at Murray Bridge. So this is the showgrounds. I've literally just driven straight in, so I don't know that much. I know that in behind me is the powered side, so you back up to the fence and it's $20 a night, and the rest of this area here is unpowered for $10 a night. So apparently the guy comes round and park with front of vehicle 2 metres from the roadway. Alright, I wonder if that means I'm facing in the wrong direction. Must be. I can turn it around, that's alright. So yes, $10 a night. I don't need power or water. I'll stay here tonight, see how it goes, and then decide whether I'm going to move on. But yeah, not a bad little spot.